When at first you don't succeed, carve a piece of boulder. So this is a pretty much guaranteed result. So I'm aiming, it's actually a small piece, so you can see that grid behind it. It's about 2 centimeters long, bit under an inch. It's a fairly small piece. What I'm wanting out of it is just a nice ringstone and a really long kind of cylindrical one. So what you see is what you get. There's nothing too mysterious or hidden about it. It's got a little bit of red up the top, goes a bit green, ends up with the blue. So it's pretty nice. It's a little bit of an odd shape, let's get it out of the water, in the fact that it's got this point at the top here. Now I'm going to smoothen that out a little bit, but I don't want to flatten out the face. So I still want that kind of effect, that line that goes around here, kind of a bit crescent-y. So this here, I don't think underneath it cleans up straight to colour, but I will grind it down a little bit more and flatten out the bottom end. So I want this nice little ridge just rounded so that it's not prone to chipping. Nice little edge, and then flatten down the bottom. I want to bring in the sides a little bit over here. And then, yeah, so if I line my finger up behind it, it should be a very good ring size. So that's the plan. It should be a fairly easy one. Nothing too strenuous. After the last one didn't work out quite as well as I wanted, I just want this one to be a bit of a longer shape for a ring, so I can practice doing a couple wire wraps with this as a long piece example, and the one we carved the other day as a pretty standard small cabochon kind of shape. I might even get a stencil onto this one if I think it's going to align well to that. But I don't like the stencil boulder. I don't know, I like the natural feel of boulder. There's something about it. Once you start forcing it to fit a shape, I don't know, it kind of loses its edge for me. So yeah, that's the plan. We're going to get the diamond bit out, do some rough shaping, and then we'll be onto the novas. So let's see how it goes. Well, you guys saw it during the recording. Tough break. Look at that. Snap. Now, there was no way to predict that that was going to snap. All I wanted to do was work on those 2 front dots, and I reckon they would have gone away. But if we have a closer look at this, you can see there, see where it's it's hard to show, but there's a huge air pocket between the two fractured pieces. So right there where you can see that loose dust, that loose ironstone dust, yeah, so huge air pocket, and it's just fractured straight through the middle of that air pocket, which is a shame because we were really on track to get a nice piece out of that, a nice ringstone. Now it hasn't lost a lot. That piece, that offcut there is just 1 carat, and overall in the total height kind of thing, without it now the piece looks like it's a bit of a tooth kind of shape. But this ironstone here I've interrogated pretty hard, and it's through and through, so there's no colour bar underneath that. I've given it a real good rub. This is it dry, so it's fogged up a bit, but if I wet it, you can see the rest of the stone is still there. It's still a great piece, but because of this cut in here and because of that chopped off top, I'm actually thinking of carving all the way down there and just kind of squaring it up a little bit more and making it a bit of a, I don't know, like a cylinder-ish kind of shape. Bit more of a point. Not entirely sure, but I think we'll just play around and just see how it ends up, really. Unlucky, but we are going to make the most of it because this is still a stone with beautiful colour in it. It's still got that red tip. It's still got that vibrant blue, green, red. It's a nice stone. So I've just squared off the end here and buzzed that back a little bit. The air pocket wasn't that huge on this side, so the majority of the huge pocket of missing ironstone backing is in this one here. So yeah, it's just there's no indication that was going to happen. There's no crack along there. It's a little bit funny because what I have been worried about with this piece, if you can see it here, see that flash of colour? There is a crack of precious opal going straight through there. And I was actually going to dop across that line because I was worried about that fracturing. You can see it go all the way through, all the way around the piece. So I am still worried that one might give a bit of a weak point, but it's held up pretty well so far. So yeah, I'm just going to shape this a little bit more and then hit it with the novas. I'm still not sure about this. I'm thinking I might just have to cut that off and we'll end up with a piece that looks more like that. I might just have to nip this end here as well, just square it off a little bit like that. And then it'll be a pretty small piece, but it should still be reasonable for wire wrapping practice. So yeah, we'll do that and we'll see how it goes. Well, here you have it. Even with that minor setback of snapping off that piece, which I still can't believe that there was a huge air bubble in the matrix. That's a real pain. But here you go. So the green is actually fairly dominant now. After I'd given it a bit of a polish up. It's not the perfect polish, and I haven't gone all the way through to cerium oxide, just because I think I'm going to scuff this piece up a lot when I use it as practice for my wire wrapping rings, because I haven't tried any wire wrapping rings yet. I've actually got an idea of one, which I haven't seen a design for quite like it, so it might be the first one I ever invent. But it's going to be like a 4-prong kind of holding thing where it grabs on at the top and the bottom on both sides. But yeah, you'll see that when I eventually try to do it. I'm still amazed that it didn't crack along this opal line, so that opal has really glued it together quite well. I didn't see any indication that that was going to pop up there, but when it first did pop, I was assuming it was along this line until I had a look and then realised where the line was. So yeah, it was a minor setback. It's knocked a carat off the stone and it's taken out a lot of that blue, so the deepest blue was up in that last little piece. I do still have it lying around here. It's not polished or anything, so you can see there that it's mainly the blue. The green peters out and that was the blue end. And these two little inclusions here probably would have carved out because that's still fairly thick. Actually, carving a little bit deeper, you can see that it goes a bit more green towards the bottom, so maybe that's what's happened with this part up here, because that green is really, really starting to dominate the piece. The red still comes through at the tip, which I really like. And even this part here, where the the ironstone kind of comes in and cuts out a little bit of the stone, it actually does have this really nice, cool matrixy effect. So there is actually a little bit of opal scattered in throughout that, which is pretty nice. This line didn't come up as well as I thought. You could see me just playing with it a little bit with the Nova tips, just to see if I could polish that band across and leave the rest of this looking pretty rugged. But yeah, it didn't come up quite as well as I would have liked. But the face came up really well. So even though it cracks, you gotta push on and see what you can get out of it, because there was no saving that. Even stabilizing, I don't think there would have been a way to get the resin in there to fill in that massive gap. You can see right there where it's found its weak point and just boom, blown apart. It's very rare to happen. I haven't hit a bubble inside a Boulder ironstone for quite a while. I had one really early on, which I was mega upset about. That's when I was really just starting out, and I think that was when I was still using sandpaper. And even on the sandpaper, it just snapped, and I thought I did something wrong, but then I put the two ends together and saw that there was this massive crater in the middle. So, yeah, sometimes you just can't avoid it. You just gotta make what you can out of it. And here we've made a nice little ringstone. So I'll play around with it. I guess I'll get a quick weight. I took a picture of the original weight, so I'll pop that up. But here we've got another... yeah, bit over 2.5 carats, so... it's going to be a sizable ring, but not too heavy. I reckon that's a pretty nice spot for a ringstone. 2.5 to 3 carats. Probably, I would have liked it a little bit better, little bit bigger for something chunky like me, even though I don't wear rings anyway. So I would never make it and then wear it myself, but for a smaller figure than mine, I reckon 2.5 to 3 carats is pretty reasonable size. Especially in Boulder, because it is fairly porous and that makes it a little bit lightweight. But yeah, I think it's cool. It looks nice. Kind of like a bit of a belemnite, but Boulder. And a nice face on it, so it worked out well. I'm quite happy with it. And yeah, I think that'll do it for this one. You'll definitely see this one pop up on the channel a few more times whilst I get some wire wrapping experience under my belt with rings. I haven't done any wire wrapping for a while, but with Von's recent care package, I'm more determined than ever to give it a crack. I've still been doing it a bit off camera, just to practice a few techniques, but I haven't actually recorded making a piece for a while now, so I will do that. You'll see that come up, and yeah, hopefully with these new tools I'll be able to pull something off. So thanks for checking out the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.